Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about an unsupervised learning technique called the K-means clustering algorithm, how to use it, and what it is. So for those of you who are new to the field, unsupervised learning and supervised learning are machine learning techniques. Supervised learning is telling a Python system, this is our data, this is our input, and giving the system labels. So let's say we had an image that we're trying to classify. So our training data would be labeled images of cats and dogs. So the neural network would understand what a cat looks like and a dog looks like. But supervised learning techniques are a little bit different. You give the model data, but you don't give the model any labels. The unsupervised learning algorithms that we're going to be talking about today take data as an input and are able to understand the patterns within the data. And this is really important because in the real world, we're not going to be encountering data that's all labeled. It's inconvenient and takes a lot of time. Are we going to individually label dog and cat images and sit all day labeling 15,000 images just for the neural network to be able to identify between a dog and a cat? It's inconvenient. So now we're going to be talking about a clustering algorithm. So you might be asking, what is a K-means clustering algorithm and why is it so convenient? So in K-means clustering, a first great step is just to choose how many clusters you want to identify within your data. So let's say for the data that we see right now, we want two main clusters. So our K value will equal to 2. Our next step is to identify two data points, two random data points, and say, all right, these are the initial clusters. And from there, we measure every single data point's distance from those two clusters. So as you can see, it's pretty intuitive. The points that are closer to the green cluster will be identified as part of the green cluster, and the points that are closer to the blue cluster will identify with the blue cluster. Next, we're going to take the mean of the distance between the points in the blue cluster and the points in the green cluster. To identify how good our model did, we take the total variation of the clusters and map it like so. So here you see that the model made a couple of mistakes, but that's why this process is iterative. So let's try it again. All over again, we drop down our x's and look at the distances between the points and identify which point belongs to which cluster. We take the means, we adjust the clusters, and we see what the variation is. We see that the K-means model is not so accurate after the first time. It takes a long time to identify what the best variation is between the clusters, and that's what makes it a machine learning algorithm. It learns what placement of the clusters is ideal, and that's what's so cool about it. So the algorithm is going to do this as many times as you tell it to do this clustering over and over and over again, but it's going to identify what is the most advantageous variation of clustering based on the distribution of the clusters. So you could tell it how many times it will do this iteratively, and over time it will be more accurate and find the most advantageous variation. But let's step back and ask ourselves, how do we really find K? Like how do we find the amount of clusters that we want to put in our data set? The way we can pick K is we can look at the reduction in variation versus number of clusters plot, and we can see where the elbow is in the plot, like so. So we can see here that the reduction variation at K equals 2 is significantly higher than the variation in, let's say, 3, 4, and 5. So that's how we choose how many clusters our algorithm will use. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was clear, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.